Welcome to the 7 Minute Business Club. I'm Brian Briscoe. I'm all dressed up today. There's a reason for that, which will become apparent in the next few minutes. So, an 80% fail rate, 81% of people lie, and 33% of the decisions get made in the first 2 minutes. No wonder interviews can be grueling, nerve-wracking, and few lead to success. So, today, I want to give you 3 nuggets of wisdom that I hope will have you get so much better at interviews. I know what it's like when you've kind of applied for a job, you've gone through the whole process, and then you walk out of an interview after an hour and go, I think I just messed that up. And worse still, you just don't give a great account and an accurate account of what you can do in the job that you're going for. As you grow up as a leader, it becomes even more competitive and more difficult to beat the people around you to a job. So here's my 3 nuggets. Number 1, the first 90 seconds, or as I call it, first 90. Number 2, know your passion. And number 3, know your genius. So we're going to go into each of those a little bit more now and talk through them to see how you could apply them to yourself. So the first 90 seconds, you've probably never seen me in a shirt and a tie, but you can never overdress for an interview as long as you stay professional. There's so many people that I see come to interview that decide that the interview is casual. It's not your decision. It's actually the client's decision. So if you turn up to an interview and you're dressed like this, you're always allowed to acknowledge it. Say, oh, actually, you know what? I didn't know how to dress today, so I thought I'd go ultra professional. And then 2 minutes into the interview, take your jacket off if you want to. But those first 90 seconds, the minute you walk in the door, you've made an impression. The second one is eye contact. Around the first 90, it is amazing how you will avoid eye contact when you're nervous. And it might just be that, might be looking around the room, it might be looking down, but really connect with the person. Warm handshake is more than just a handshake. So in those first 90 seconds, you do have a really, really good opportunity to mess it up. You can't get the job in the first 90 seconds, but you can certainly lose it. And the other bit I talk about when I talk about the first 90 seconds is listen calmly. When we're nervous, when we feel on trial, when we feel like we've really got to impress, we tend to turn off our listening receptors. So when the person on the other side of the table or the people are explaining to you what they're about to do, just sit and calmly take some really subtle deep breaths in and out and listen. And the first question they ask you, listen to the question. Because what I've found with a lot of candidates is they answer 5 questions inside one answer, and I didn't ask the other 4. And what I start to get is I go, is this person capable of listening in the workplace? Is this person capable of taking other people's points of view on board? So again, if you listen calmly, you keep eye contact and keep the eye contact real, like it's not like staring at them, but you keep it real and you get that really strong, warm connection. I often say to my candidates, a handshake is a business hug. So if you can really connect with the other person. And, you know, I saw someone lately about performing artists. They just said, actually just look around at the audience in front of you before you start a performance. It's the same at the interview. So then you got your first 90 done. Now we're into the questions. Now I'm just putting a graph up here or a table up here. I implore you to fill this out and become fluent with it. It is the 5 things that you are passionate about, first of all, and let's talk about that, right? Really dig deep into what makes you tick in the workplace. Not what makes you good in the workplace, although some might be dual, but what makes you tick, what gets your head off the pillow in life. It's so important for people to understand their passion so that you can convey that to the interviewer. And if you think the amount of questions that get asked, like what motivates you? What are you interested in? The old crappy question, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? It's so much to do with your passions. So really dig deep and spend some time understanding your passions in life. Go a little bit deeper. So for example, one of mine is a passion called family completes me. But that was almost what I call level 5 of working that out. Level 1 was what everyone calls balance. I kind of, well, why do I want balance? Well, I want to be at home with my kids and my wife, and I want to see my friends, and I want to keep in touch with my Irish family. Well, why is that important? So really start to dig deeper so that it becomes part of your soul, is your passion. Because the candidate that walks in before you is just going to tell them what she liked. And the other guy that walks in after is going to tell them what kind of motivates them from time to time. You're going to talk from the soul. That is deep and that is really impactful. The third thing is know your genius. So you've got to really get a very, very eloquent way of explaining the 5 things that you do brilliantly. So I actually have this attitude that when you get to a leadership role, everyone in a leadership role has a part of them as genius, a part of them that is really, really good at what they do. You have to know yours. Now, think of the amount of interview questions that you can answer if you have your 5 pieces of genius. What made you good at that role? What do you believe you could bring to this role? Can you give us a time where you had to undertake a complex task? Can you give us a time where you had to lead a team through crisis? Every one of those questions, you can turn back to your 5 pieces of genius, right? So just for example, if you speak about your ability to develop young people into fantastic professionals, there's so much that you can talk about: project management, conflict resolution, decision making, team development, performance management. That all wraps inside just that one piece of genius. So I'm going to put that back up now on the screen. You think again that you go, I know my 5 passions and I know my 5 pieces of genius. And then I've got on the other side, I've got questions that were particular to that. Now I'm going to ask you to be brave with something. Feel free to bring this one pager to the interview with you. If I have a candidate sitting in front of me and I've seen that they've actually started to think about what they love in life, they've started to think about what they're brilliant at in life, and they've started to think about what they want to know about me, God, I really feel that they're a bit of ahead of the game and ahead of the other candidates. So I attest that you could answer nearly 90% of interview questions when you have those pieces of information and you are eloquent and fluent and articulate with them. You're not looking down at your page, reminding yourself of what you're good at, but you actually know it. You know it off by heart. It's part of you. Now, the bonus in the last 30 seconds that we've got, because I'm committed to 7 minutes for this one, leave a lasting impression. And here it is: a simple, nondescript greeting card that you have written either before the interview or immediately after when you walk out of the room. Write it. Thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed our conversation. I look forward to hearing from you. Drop it at reception. Handwritten to the person who was the lead interviewer. If you really want to go whole hog, you can write it to each of them. That's probably over the top. You can just write it to the group that interviewed you. You are going to leave an impression. Okay, there you have it. I really hope you grab this. I loved all comments. It'll be on the website below. We'll put this as a blog as well, and I'll put some of those resources online. Thank you.